Magical realism is present in both art and literature. Magical realism uses elements that are fantastical, bizarre, and typically can't be explained by natural laws. To make it easier, consider the following. An adult and a child are looking at a large dog. The adult might describe it as a normal-sized German Shepherd. However, the child, who is considerably smaller and has never seen a dog in real life before, might describe it as a big brown dinosaur. The child, who doesn't know any better, accepts this as their reality. To them, they're seeing a live dinosaur walk the very earth, even though the adult knows that this is rather irrational. Magical realism uses the same lens as that child to describe reality. Inanimate objects may seem to talk. The physically impossible becomes possible, where supernatural phenomena may occur. However, magical realism is very aware that it is irrational. It simply chooses to ignore that. Everything, no matter how bizarre, is treated as reality. Works that are magical realist share several common characteristics.
Firstly, there is a magical or supernatural element that can't be explained by our natural laws. Secondly, descriptions are often heightened or exaggerated. And thirdly, the reader experiences a merging of two different realities. The reality, in which everything is rational and bound to the laws of the natural world, and the magical reality, in which rationality is disregarded. Similarly, magical realism may bend the rules of time and space if not outright break them. So why do authors use magical realism? It first emerged as a movement in Latin America that resisted the realism of illness, starvation, and death. Gabriel Garcia Marquez, who should sound familiar to us, described it as a means to render our lives believable. Thus, a purpose of magic realism is to bring into light the different perspectives that surround an event, and it emphasizes the fact that there is more than one perspective. However, the opposite effects can then be achieved. When readers are given a new perspective, it may clash with what they thought they knew before. Not only does this reveal how many different perspectives are involved, but it also forces them to reevaluate just how much of the situation they truly understand. This can be carried out by authorial reticence, a lack of opinions about the events and credibility by the characters in the text. This helps understand the views of the people surrounding it, but also how convoluted the event really is. Marquez is one of the most famous magical realist writers, and Chronicle of a Death Foretold certainly falls under a magical realist novel. Let's take a look at some examples.
The use of premonitions in this novel is one indication of magical realism, such as Santiago's strange dream the night before his death. The fact that his mother happens to be a known interpreter of dreams also adds to the supernatural feel of the narrative. It fulfills Marquez's secondary purpose to defamiliarize us with the scene. Santiago's mother interprets his dreams to be a sign of good health and hadn't noticed any ominous traces in those dreams of her sons. This sounds irrational to us since we learn from the novel's first sentence that Santiago was killed on the same day.
The description of Santiago already looking dead is another element of magical realism. The idea of a man already looking dead to several people achieves the purposes of magical realism. On one hand, it helps us better understand why no one stopped the murder. They did not feel that they could stop an event which they perceived as inevitable. On the other hand, we are defamiliarized with the text. Santiago's ghost-like description is given without any witness's opinions, which makes it hard to separate what truly happened and what is simply exaggeration. We question the rationality behind Santiago's ghostly appearance, which is essentially questioning the reliability of the information we are given. The reader is then exposed to many different viewpoints, but is also left to wonder who and what to believe. Now let's use some discussion questions to better understand the role of magical realism in Chronicle of a Death Foretold.